3 photos with terrifying backstories. This photo was taken in the middle of the night from a Reddit user who swore they could hear noises coming from their kitchen. And it almost looks innocent until you zoom in. I don't like whatever was going on in there. A reminder too that if you like spooky things, you'll love my podcast. The most recent episode is all true ghost stories. This next photo was taken by a woman who was driving down an area in Connecticut that she said was haunted. She claimed she was taking a photo of one man walking, but when she looked back at the photo later, there were 2. And this photo looks harmless enough until you realize that the user used to have a cat that would do this to their toilet paper rolls. But the cat had passed away months before this photo was taken, and the user lives alone. So what do you think, haunted or not?
This video is going to change the way you look at the afterlife. Someone captured the moment a soul left someone's body after they died. Check it out. Did you have an imaginary friend growing up? Some believe those friends are actually ghosts. Listen to this story. While babysitting his niece one night, a guy drifted off to sleep while studying and watching her from the baby camera monitor. He was suddenly awakened by the sound of whispering coming from the baby monitor. He looked and saw it. On the monitor showed a dark figure in the corner of his niece's room near her crib. Terrified, he ran into his niece's room, didn't see the shadow figure, but grabbed her and ran back into the living room. Eerily, when his brother returned later that night, he asked him not to tell his wife, but said he too had seen that same shadow figure and heard whispers near the crib. They continued to live in that house for another 4 years, and that little girl frequently talked about her special friend. I had an imaginary friend growing up, and now I'm really wondering. What about you? What are your thoughts?
I feel like kids can see ghosts that we can't see. This story is about an imaginary friend that was probably something way worse. And if you like spooky stuff, definitely check out my podcast. A woman in Virginia claimed that when her daughter was little, she used to have an imaginary friend that she called Little Michael. And at first it was all the normal imaginary friend stuff that kids do. She would ask if Little Michael could eat dinner with them. She would ask if Little Michael could tuck her in at night. But she also said that if Little Michael didn't do those things, that he would get mad, which the mom thought was kind of weird. But then one day the daughter is drawing, so the mom comes over to see what the daughter's working on. And she had drawn a stick figure of herself holding hands with a ghostly child figure that was in tattered clothes. This isn't the exact photo, but the child apparently had these deep, large black eyes and was holding wilting flowers in the other hand. So the mom's a little worried and she's like, "Hey, what are you drawing?" And the daughter's like, "Oh, it's Little Michael." The mom said the daughter demanded that that photo be put on the fridge, and after the drawing was placed on the fridge, Little Michael just kind of stopped showing up as much. The mom chalks it up to a little kid's imagination, but also says that anytime there's any sound in the house, that's all she can think of.
Okay, this girl's house is for sure haunted. Watch closely. In case you missed it, some weird shadow creature just popped out. What do we think, though? Is this real or fake? Let me know in the comments below.
Earth's Scariest Places Part 37. You're not gonna believe what I'm about to tell you. This is Chase Vault, located on the Caribbean island of Barbados. This vault has a crazy backstory. It all started with this man, Colonel Chase. Colonel Chase's family had been buried in this vault. In 1812, when Colonel Chase opened the vault to bury another, the coffins already placed in the vault had moved, but the seal hadn't been broken. They moved on their own. The first time they didn't think anything of it, but this happened a second time in 1819. Again, the vault was opened up, and the coffins inside had been thrown around. Colonel Chase swears they are placed neatly in the crypt. It's also important to remember that there's only one entrance, and the seal was locked both times. How did the coffins move by themselves? Was it ghosts?
This is how much of different foods you need to eat to kill you, part 1.
Up first is chocolate. You would have to eat 85 chocolate bars to die from chocolate.
I really don't see anybody doing this unless they're actually trying to die from chocolate. But just a heads up, don't eat 85 chocolate bars in one sitting,
because you will most likely die. Next up is one of everybody's favorite fruit, which is bananas. And you would have to eat 405 bananas in one sitting to die.
I don't even think monkeys can do this, nonetheless a human being.
But you would die from all the potassium you're getting and just overdose on it. Next up is cigarettes. You would have to smoke 71 cigarettes in a row to die.
I honestly don't even think it's possible for one person to do this in one sitting.
But if you do, you will most likely die, so I recommend not to do it.
Earth's Scariest Places, Part 47. You are not going to believe the story behind this one. This is Riverdale Road, located just outside of Denver, Colorado. This 11-mile stretch of road is nicknamed the most haunted road in America, for good reason, but we'll get to that later. This road has a crazy amount of reported paranormal activity, disappearances, car wrecks, and deaths, including at least 10 reported deaths in the past 40 years, 4 of which were car wrecks, and tons of joggers who have disappeared. Paranormal activity reported here includes bodies hanging from the trees that disappear when you come near, a phantom classic Camaro with one headlight that disappears as it gets closer to you, Native American shapeshifters, and a phantom jogger who scratches the side of passing cars and taps the shoulders of passing joggers. But what's the story behind this road? Why is there so much paranormal activity? I'll tell you this, it involves a crazy rich man, his dead family, and a burnt down mansion. Come back for part 2 for the full story.
Okay, what do you think? Ghost or nah? Before Joey and Amy Radke moved into their Minnesota home, they were warned it was haunted. The prior tenant reported seeing shadows and felt like something was watching her as she slept at night. The couple moved in and didn't notice anything strange straight away, until one night, it started. The couple had a pet camera set up in their home, and this is the footage they captured one night. A ghostly figure in a nightgown suddenly appears in the hallway as the couple's cats take cover underneath a table out of fear. Joey did some research on the home and believes the figure to be the ghost of an elderly lady who passed away in their bedroom years before. And ever since capturing this apparition, the couple has reported more activity in the home, seeing things and that same feeling of being watched. What do you think?
The infection in The Last of Us game and show is actually based on this very real parasitic fungus that turns certain insects into zombies. And how similar the fungus is in real life to the infection in The Last of Us will freak you out. The creators of the game and the new show were inspired by zombie carpenter ants specifically. The zombies in The Last of Us go through 4 stages of infection which have parallels in nature, and here they are. In the first stage, the infected humans begin to twitch, get hyper, move at high speeds, and eventually lose the ability to speak, and this all happens in ants as well. In stage 2, the zombies have obvious fungal growth that transforms its host's physical shape and gives it a desire to seek out new hosts, which also happens in ants. In stage 3, the zombies rely on echolocation after losing their sight. In real life, zombie ants also become impaired because they start climbing towards light so that they can prepare for stage 4. In stage 4, the zombies become slow-moving bloaters that can excrete spores, which also happens in ants.
People are convinced that this is a Skinwalker. Listen carefully.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Good boy.
Skinwalkers have the ability to mimic the sounds of a human voice. and they have been known to portray themselves as crows. So could this be a skinwalker? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also, I did a video on my YouTube channel about skinwalker sightings, so if you want to see that video, link in bio.
Look at this video.
But do you know there could be another contender waiting in line, a dangerous contender known as the zombie fungus, a fungus that hacks the brain and could potentially turn one into a zombie.
Look at this one too.
Warning about a potentially deadly fungus that's apparently spreading throughout hospitals.
Cases have been reported in at least 30 states.
No, I refuse to believe this. Right at the start of 2020, people stood up and shut the whole world down. No one's allowed to leave home. But today, COVID is harmless. No one cares if you're infected with the virus. It's just another flu, apparently. Billions of PCR COVID swabs were conducted. We paid. American, Chinese, and British vaccines were sold to governments worldwide. They told us about 72% of the world's population got vaccinated. What you are seeing now could be one of those, boys, we made a lot of money. Let's do it one more time in 2024. I'm sure many of you have seen The Last of Us. Now, it is true, the type of zombie fungus that they refer to in the series is a real fungus that does exist. However, based on health institutions, this fungus only affects insects and does not affect human beings. Yet, let's say it does, one day. Maybe some Chinese or American labs modify this fungus and they let it explore. We'll have zombies attacking us. I'm not getting vaccinated, bro. I'm going old school. And you should too.
If the road leads to you